Hey everyone, Sheila here from Life with Pets. So today we're going to be doing some tank maintenance on our 75 gallon tank. With being on vacation and having family here for 6 weeks, then this tank has got seriously neglected. So we're going to do a large water change and then just overall maintenance on the tank. Before we get into the video, I want to say a big thank you to Debbie. She has become our first Patreon supporter, so thank you very much, Debbie. Very much appreciated and will help with the channel. Okay, so let's get on and take a look at the 75 gallon. Like I say, not looking good. Excuse the glare, I've just noticed how bad that is there, so I apologize if I'm blinding you all right now. Okay, let's take a look at the 75 gallon and let's get it all cleaned up. Okay, so let me start off by showing you just how bad this tank is. It has had its regular water changes, but we haven't done any cleaning or trimming of plants or anything like that. No filter maintenance either, so we're going to do all that today. So on the left side of the tank, you can see so much algae all along the back, so we're going to clean all that up. And Joy is determined to photobomb this video. The plants are covered in algae as well. Now we have, I think, solved this problem, so I'm hoping that by getting these plants cleaned up, and I will show you these plants cleaned up at the end, we put them into our 20 gallon and the difference is unbelievable with letting the snails and the shrimp at them. We do have snails in this tank, but obviously it is a much bigger tank and there is a lot of algae for them to go at, so they don't get to clean it up that well. But in the 20 gallon, with it being a lot smaller, and we've actually got I think 5 snails in there, they have done an amazing job. So I will show you at the end of this video just how well they cleaned the plants up. We decided that we would do the filters first, so we took some water out and put it into a 5 gallon bucket. Whenever you're cleaning filters, you must always clean them in aquarium water, otherwise you will kill off a lot of the beneficial bacteria. Now, a lot of people are going to say that you shouldn't clean filters and do a water change at the same time, and whilst I do agree with that to a point, we've always done it this way, so we're just going to do it the way we normally do. There's our clown Pleco, which you don't see very often. I think he's just gone behind the decoration there, but we do have a clown Pleco in here, but even we don't see him that often either. Sponge filters are probably our most favourite filters, simply because they're so easy to maintain. They come apart and then you basically just rinse them out in aquarium water. We just squeeze them until they come clean, and whilst the water does get really dirty, it is good for the filter. Obviously you're preserving as much of the beneficial bacteria as possible. So we're going to do this sponge filter, and then we're also going to do the hang on the back filter, and a lot of you are always asking what do we actually have in that filter. So when we take that one apart, I will show you all the bits that we have in there. The only thing we're not going to take out today and clean in the hang on the back filter is the sponge, because we don't want to sort of do everything, because we will be taking all the floss out, and so that is going to be removing a lot of the beneficial bacteria. So we're not going to do the sponge in the hang on the back, but we will be doing everything else. Our hang on the back filter is an Aqua Clear 70, and I do think out of all the hang on the back filters, these are my favourite, and that is because you can modify them to what you want to put in them rather than just a cartridge and then you don't have much choice. We do also have a marine hang on the back on the goldfish tank, and I don't like that one anywhere near as much as this one. So on the top we do have the bio media, and then this is the filter floss, and as you can see it is really gross. We change it out about every 2 to 3 weeks, so you can see the filter does do a good job, and it also, the filter floss, because it's so fine, then it traps all the really fine particles of dirt. So that is why it's good if you do have the option to add it into a filter. It is a great media to use. We're also going to rinse out the biomedia just to get any loose particles off it, just to make it as clean as possible. And again, we've done it in the dirty aquarium water. This is the Polyfill that we use. It's 100% polyester. When you're buying anything like this, we got this one, I think it was from Michael's. Now when you're buying anything like this, you do need to make sure that there's no chemicals added. Sometimes with this material they do add flame resistant chemicals, so you do need to make sure that it is 100% pure with nothing else added to it. So underneath the Polyfill is the sponge, and like I said, we've not taken that out and rinsed that today. So we have it layered with the sponge and then the Polyfill and then the biomedia on top. Depending which way your water flow goes in your filter, then you always want the biomedia to be the last thing that the water is filtered over, and that way then there's the least dirt gets trapped on it so that the beneficial bacteria can grow on it. So in the AquaClear filters, the water is pumped into the filter chamber and then it comes up through and then out over the top. So you want the sponge on the bottom to catch the bigger particles, the filter floss next to catch the small particles, and then your biomedia, which in theory not a lot of dirt if any should attach to, so that the beneficial bacteria can grow, because if that gets clogged then it's harder for the bacteria to grow on it. I mean, the bacteria does also grow in your sponges and on the floss as well, but the biomedia is really good for it because it sort of absorbs it and has a lot of the little holes in it that the bacteria can really get into. We use the magnetic cleaners where it's possible for the glass. Obviously with the tank we can't reach all the way down the back, and we can't reach the left side because the goldfish tank is right up against it, but where we can use it we do, because it is so much easier to clean the glass with it. I will leave links to everything I've talked about in the description box below if you want to take a look at them. The only thing with these cleaners is you really do have to be careful that you don't pick up particles of substrate, especially sand or gravel, when you go near the bottom, otherwise it will scratch the glass. So that's the only downside to them, but if you're really careful then it really is okay, and they do such a great job at cleaning the glass. To me it's so much easier than having to scrub with the sponge. As you can see, we do still need to use the sponge because we can't reach all the way down the back with the glass cleaner, but at least it's only a part of it that we have to do it with. The algae that we do have in the tank does come off really easily, so I'm very thankful for that, because otherwise sometimes you can get an algae that is really difficult to get off, but ours is more sort of just the brown film algae and it comes off really quickly. So as we've now created quite a dirty looking tank, we're going to now do the water change. We do tend to do all the sort of what we call the dirty work of creating all the mess in the tank before we get the water change going, and that's simply so we can suck up as much of the dirt and algae particles as possible. We don't tend to gravel vacuum the gravel or the other substrate. We always do the sand, but we don't do the rest, and the reason for that is when you have a planted tank, then the plants do use the fish waste and uneaten food as fertilizer, so sometimes we will sort of just hover over it in case there sort of is a layer of dirt, but for the most part the only thing we actually do a thorough vacuuming on is the sand, and that's just to make sure that we don't get any gas pocket build-up and also to remove any uneaten food. We do feed at the front of the tank, and so this is where all the food does drop, although I do think they probably eat most of it up because they're extremely greedy fish. I do think that I'm sure there are fine particles that get into the sand, so we just give it a really thorough vacuum every time we do a water change. Once we're done with the siphoning, we added back in everything that we took out. I did take out one of the decorations and gave it a good scrubbing just because it was so full of algae, although I don't think it really made that much difference. It didn't seem to look any cleaner when I'd finished with it. We then put the sponge filters back in, and we'd also taken the intake tube off the hang on the back filter, and I did give that a really good clean as well. That is the one thing I do
like about the hang on the back filter is it is easy to maintain. Sponge filters are by far the easiest, but if you're using hang on the back filters, the Aqua Clear one is very easy to maintain. We do take it apart about every 6 to 8 weeks and clean the impeller on it just to make sure that that is fully functional as well. So going back to the plants that we talked about at the beginning of the video, we took one out several days ago and put it into our 20 gallon, and the snails and the shrimp did an amazing job on it. Just look how clean it is. So we're going to take out the one next to it and put that in the 20 gallon and let them work their magic on that one, and it'll be interesting to see just how many days it takes them to clean it. This one obviously is smaller, and I think it was about 3 or 4 days, and it ended up looking like that. So I'm going to put the other one in, and then I will film it over time to show you what happens. I don't know if this is good enough lighting that you can see just how bad the tank is. I'm going to put it into the tank, and I think you probably will get a better view, but all these leaves are absolutely full of algae. So the nerite snails in this tank are going to get a feast because they do a great job with the algae. So as I put it in, hopefully you will get a better view at how it actually looks and just how bad it is. I will film over the next few days to see just how well they clean it up. I will try and get some time lapse, but that's not always easy to do, but I will do my best to get some so that you can see the process of it actually being cleaned up. The plant was only in a few minutes, and already one of the horned nerite snails had found it, and several of the shrimp, I don't think you can actually see them there, but several of them are down in the base of it cleaning off all the stems. So this is really looking good, and at the end of the video I will show you the results. When we do the water change, we use prime water conditioner. We always add it just straight into the tank because we do use a water pump system to fill the tank up. It's probably one of the most asked questions we get with having so many tanks. How do you fill them up? So every time we do a water change video, we do always show the process. So we have a bucket in our sink and the tap is running constantly. We then have a pond pump in there and then pipe running from that into the tank. So all you then do is leave the tap running in the sink and you just plug the pump in, and then that just pumps the water back into the tank. It is so quick and easy, and with having so many tanks then it's just really easy for us to set it going, and then while it's actually filling one tank I can be working on another, and it's just a really simple process. We do have a video on it and I will leave a link in the top right iCard if you want to take a look at it. So the tank is looking a lot cleaner now. I am sure the fish are going to be much happier, and the glass, I can't believe the difference in the glass. It is so clean in comparison to how it did look. This is normally how we keep our tanks. We don't normally let them get as neglected as this one was. It was just with having family here and vacation and all that sort of stuff that obviously we can't keep up with everything. Whilst we did keep up with the water changes, so water parameters were perfectly fine, it was just really the glass that we let go. So I did manage to get some footage of the shrimp and the snails working on the plant, and as you can see, this was probably about 30 to 40 minutes after I put it in. They are already making a difference, and we can see some of the leaves are getting really clean. This was just a small time lapse that I did manage to get, and the plant has been in now I think about an hour and a half maybe, and so they've still got a lot of work to do. 2 days later, just look at the plant. It looks like a brand new plant, and we're going to now put it back into the 75 gallon, and then the water change and the tank cleaning is complete. The plant looks so healthy and absolutely amazing. I have got one more I'm going to put in there as well, and then I do also think I'm going to add some more snails into the tank because obviously they do take care of the algae, and I don't think I'm going to put shrimp in at this moment in time because I'm pretty sure that the beta fish would go after them, but we might try it a bit later down the line. But I want to make sure that we've got a good breeding colony before I do that. Here's a quick look at before and after. This was the plant before it went in with the snails and shrimp, and this is the plant after. I just find it absolutely amazing how quickly they did it and how good it looks. So I think that just about wraps up this tank cleaning. If you're wanting any more information on the tank or anything that you've seen or links, they will all be in the description box below. I'll also leave a link to our Patreon page if you want to go and take a look at that. If you're not subscribed to this channel and would like to see more videos like this, then please do so. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.